Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Laura, the sales leader at North Americas for Dreamdata. Hello.
Hello, Christian. Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you. At first, we already had Lars on the podcast, the CEO at Dreamdata. But for anybody that doesn't know, please tell us what is Dreamdata. What does the company do?
Absolutely. Dreamdata is the go-to-market platform for all the companies trying to figure out what's actually driving revenue. So most of the companies so far are using it for attribution, especially for marketing, because in B2Bs, it's very difficult to understand what you have created of campaigns and marketing and if those actually have turned into sales and new business. And it can go so long time for you to at all see any results of the campaigns you're kicking off. So we're helping companies to understand what's driving revenue in your company.
And why do you think attribution is so important? You mentioned it so many times on LinkedIn, and people want to learn more about it. So tell us what is it?
So maybe it's not because it's so important, it's because it's very difficult to understand in marketing. So when you're a marketer and you're running so many digital campaigns, and most of them are only touching the surface of your prospect's mind space, so to say, and if you're kicking some campaigns off, they would yield results luckily in a month, but most of the times, like in half a year, you'll see the full returns of your ad spend. So what are the touches in the customer journey that you should keep an eye on to know that you're on the right track? Because you don't want to wait half a year to see if the campaign you kicked off is bringing you pipeline. You want to know that more or less instantly. Are we going to have a good campaign? Should we kill it off? Should we put more money into it? So that's exactly what we're helping out our clients with. And that comes with attribution in a package. But the big part of it is the mess in the data that people are trying to figure out, because you got a lot of data. Your clients don't want to come and fill out forms for you. You're trying to merge all that data together. You get even more tools to try to understand that data. And you spend so much time trying to untangle that just to understand, is what I'm doing working? Are we going to have more pipeline? That's why I think it's important.
And how does Dreamdata solve this problem? We understand now that it's a big problem, but how does it work?
Yeah, we normalize the data. To start with, we collect it all for clients from all of your sources, like your online channels, your website, your CRM, and then we normalize it for B2Bs. Because that's another thing that usually is difficult to do, is your customers are buying in groups. And how are they affected by the campaigns you're running? So we normalize that data and help clients to understand it through the reporting that we help them with.
Okay.
And out of that reporting, they start automating the campaigns that actually are helping them to close more revenue. So it's kind of helping out to close the whole loop. With clean data, you can not just understand and report, but also automate to get more of those exact results that you're looking for.
All right, let's take a quick break and introduce you to Dealfront. Now, we all know that getting through to decision makers can feel like breaking through a fortress. But picture this, a tool that not only promises but delivers. Imagine if your sales and marketing team could target ideal fit leads and close deals all within a single platform. And that platform is Dealfront. How is Dealfront different? Its revenue engine is fueled by live European data in multiple languages, providing you with insights and access that other tools simply can't match. No more struggling to find the right decision makers. With Dealfront, it's as easy as few clicks. Here's the magic. With Dealfront, you can harness 3 layers of data: market signals, web visitors, and EU company databases. And there's no need to worry about compliance. Dealfront meets Europe's strict standards, ensuring GDPR compliance that competitors can match. Ready to revolutionize your approach to leads and deals? Grab your free demo today at dealfront.com. That's DEALFRONT.com. Don't miss out on the future of successful deal making with Dealfront. Thank you so much, Dealfront, for sponsoring this episode. Now, let's get back to it. Right. And how does the pricing work?
The pricing. So we've got a free package that is very nice for smaller companies, where you can already see a lot of intent of your data, how your website is performing, how your ad spend is doing. And then you move over to the team solution that is for smaller startups, where it's very much self-serve, starting from around 10, 12K a year.
Mhm.
and then going up for the business solution that is fully supported, that starts from around 20-25K a year, depending on what you want from the platform.
Thank you for sharing. And now, can you share some use cases or success stories that you got?
Oh, plenty. The use cases, usually clients come in with very simple cases like, help me get this data and just report on it.
Okay.
And then as soon as they come over and start doing that, they start saying, okay, so I can even optimize on those. So one of the coolest use cases so far is with LinkedIn offline conversions. Well,
Mhm.
most of the companies are doing LinkedIn offline conversions through LinkedIn and optimizing for top of funnel. But clients with Dreamdata start doing that according to some other offline events that are happening and bringing them sales qualified leads, maybe new business, depending on the length of your sales cycle. And
Okay.
with that, our clients are able to optimize. I think the latest numbers were over 20 or 30% of their ad spend with LinkedIn. So this is a big number, but that number is constantly changing because our clients are getting better and better of hitting those offline conversions to work and help them optimize on those.
And I guess Dreamdata pays for itself just by improving your right?
Well, it depends on your ad spend, really. So some of the clients come in not spending too much on ads, but maybe doing a lot of events, face-to-face events, and
Okay.
want to understand what's actually working. When in the pipeline should we be inviting those customers? Is that acceleration? Is that closure? Is that new business generation? So it really depends. The platform pays off both of your time, but most of the time, if you're thinking about money, that is on performance marketing. If you spend more than, I'd say, like 20K a month on your ad spend, then it will be paying itself for within a year's time.
That's great. That's great. And do you target any specific industries?
B2B SaaS.
Just B2B SaaS.
Yes.
And why not more? Why not other industries that do paid marketing?
To start with, it's the niche that we're working with because we know the clients so well and they have a lot of digital touches. So if we were to work with manufacturing companies, there are many more sales touches comparing to digital marketing touches.
Okay.
So it could be that it will broaden out in some time, but to start with, we focus on the companies that have a lot of digital touches to help them understand those. And well, slowly we will start to figure out if it's also helpful for other companies too.
I understand. And how about this space? How competitive is it?
For attribution,
Yes.
so most of the time, since it is the reporting that is difficult to nail right, most of the companies are trying to do it by themselves.
Okay.
And so the competition comes mostly from within when you would be thinking, okay, should we just continue as we have been trying to build this, or should we get a tool for it? And then depending on the size of the problem, the size of the marketing spend, then most of the clients would choose either to bring in a tool and onboard your operations team and your marketing team to use it and to have that clean data, or continue doing as you are doing. And in terms of other like tools competition, there are also niche tools that are able to do very similar things, but in some bites. So some of the clients might be saying, oh, we're doing this with Google Analytics. Well, it's awesome because you can definitely do a lot of that. But for B2Bs, there is the account-based part that is not possible for Google Analytics. Then we can go to Visible and do that with Visible. Yes, you can do that, but it depends on both what your use case is, how big of your marketing budget that is. Do you want to do offline conversions? Then you won't be able to do that with some other tools. So there is competition in the market, but it really depends on the use case, what the companies want to do. Dreamdata is very easy to kick off, connect your sources, and start to see if it's actually working. And we have a trial, which means that you're able to try before you buy and commit to the tool. And that's one of the big advantages for the companies to figure out, is it going to solve the use case that we're being told it's going to solve?
That's amazing. Did you had this PLG motion from the start, or did you decide to adopt it recently?
So it's kind of PLG. It's not product-led growth. It's like product-supported growth, I would say. But when I joined Dreamdata, we did not have a trial.
Okay.
And I think after a year of me joining, I joined Dreamdata for 3.5 years ago, a year after we got the trial. And it was it was a funny story because I was like, I haven't tried to sell something that you can actually trial. I used to work at big enterprises where if you work for Red Hat, well, you won't go in and trial Red Hat supported Linux. You have had tried Linux, but what the rest means like. Then we're talking POCs. We're going to do a proof of concept and so on.
Yes.
And when people could just come in and try your products, like, okay, so where does sales come into this? So it was a very funny back and forth as
Yeah.
how are we going to do this? And it is a lot of trial for the sales team to adapt to the different way of selling, but it's a huge competitive advantage for any company to do, because as soon as you start doing a streamlined trial with your prospects, it removes all of the competition from the way. Because if you're able to prove within 2 weeks that your tool is going to solve at least one of the use cases that were really, really key, and slowly you can see that you can broaden them out throughout your contract time, is so much easier to buy, especially in this market where you're saying, like, we're not just buying additional tools. We need to see that it's actually working.
Great answer. I love it. And how many team members are now at Dreamdata versus when you joined 3.5 years ago?
I think I was employee number 9.
Okay. First
And-
salesperson?
Sorry?
Were you the first salesperson?
We were 2 salespeople joining the team at that time. And after that, then right now we are a bit above 50 people in the team. And we are 6 people in the sales team. So it's kind of a big leap. If you think about it, 3.5 years ago. And now, yeah, we changed the offices. There are a lot of things that have changed, and we started to close larger and larger deals and talk to larger and larger clients where you would never have thought of any of those would come in inbound for you. And that's another thing that we can talk about. It's like a lot of clients of Dreamdata are coming in inbound. We don't do cold outbound at all, which is a fantastic achievement within those 3.5 years.
How can SaaS companies use the same tactic as you?
Understand how marketing is working and what creates, you don't create demand, but how do you properly capture demand and create awareness of the problem that you're solving, that whenever that demand appears in the companies, then you are one of those companies that are reaching out to have a demo and to talk about this. So when I'm saying that we're not doing outbound, we're doing warm outbound, meaning that we have the intent channels that we can see that either somebody have seen our LinkedIn ads or have been on G2 comparing and so on. It does not still mean that the demand is there, but the intent is there. So that means that we're able to activate them a little bit faster and move them into the sales pipeline as well.
I don't want to raise your ego, but you are the master of this. So everybody knows if we need the attribution at one point in time, we have Laura and Dreamdata because they see you all the time. So I'm curious, and I have to ask you, how can founders, executives start social selling?
Oh, okay. So social selling is a part of it, but for founders, you have to first figure out where your audience is. So for us, a big part of our audience is on LinkedIn, which is why we're very active here, which means that the more times people have seen the name of the company, what you stand for, or what kind of keywords you want to be remembered for, then it's much easier for your audience to find you, because they've heard about you. Could be that your audience is on Reddit. Maybe they're more on Twitter. Maybe they're going mostly to the face-to-face events and sometimes logging into LinkedIn. So make sure that you're there where they are. For us, it's on LinkedIn. And then figure out what type of content do they usually see and stop their scroll for. What is it that would stop their scroll? Because we're selling to marketers and being a little bit less serious, maybe a little bit less polished, a little bit more personal, rather than looking like an ad, is something that works for marketers. But maybe it would not be working for financial professionals that you might be selling to, CFOs, for example. Then you have to figure out what is it that stops their scroll, and then try to test this as much as you can to be able to execute on those on the channels for that you're going to do social selling on.
That is amazing. And I saw you also launched your course. So please tell us more about it.
Yeah. So seeing what we have been doing at Dreamdata for what is it, more than 2.5 years now of social selling. One of the Danish influencers in marketing, I could say, Casper, reached out to me saying, Laura, shouldn't we just do a course and teach other people how to do it? Because it is a platform, in my opinion, it is a platform that is constantly changing and you have to adapt to it. But it takes so long time for you to start hitting that niche that you want to reach out to, or at least to figure out how your personal branding sounds like, that just by testing it would take you years to do it. And there's that Kickstarter that everybody needs to understand, how do the algorithms work? How do I write the post? How do I understand what my audience is looking for? So we created a course for that. And Casper, all of the biggest kudos for you and the team, because they have been working really hard to get that up to speed as well. So we did film a very good quality course that is, I think it's like 3 or 4 hours course plus education plus certification for anybody kicking this off, being able to do it.
And where can people find it? And
it's on SparkForce website. So sparkforce.com is Casper Roachman's agency that I'm collaborating together with, and they've got it there. Or it is on my LinkedIn page. So if you want to find it, you can go on my profile page and you will be able to find a link to the course as well.
Right. And I recently saw a post of yours that said that all of your colleagues decided to start social selling some time ago. So I'm curious to know, how do you motivate your team? How do you, how important is it for all of you? Because I know, for example, the trio between you, Marie, and Ines, but there are more people involved. So I think this is the goal. All the SaaS industry appreciates your social selling.
Yeah. So we know that our audience is on LinkedIn, and if we were to stay there, we need to involve more people than just right now we're mentioning 3 people, but what if we were 10 people quite actively posting on LinkedIn? So for that, you need to do a lot of enablement internally. Okay. So people can see us on LinkedIn, the people who are here, but we thought, how can we do that a little bit more officially? So one day, if I'm out of LinkedIn and I'm logged out, then we're still having enough of eyeballs looking at other content. So people can see that before I'm back again. So what we decided to do for Q1, we decided to kick off a challenge to hit 3 million views across the whole team who would like to do it. So we asked who would like to be a part of the challenge. And I think we are 15 people.
Wow.
And 3 million views, it sounds not too hard, but it's still uphill battle to get the people doing it. And we're doing a lot of enablement. We're sharing our stories, good and bad, of how to's and what's like, which content works, what could you reshare. And I'm doing a lot of jokes as well. It's like, maybe last week you have noticed that I was copying our CEO's content. Nobody noticed, but then I made a post how nobody noticed it. So people can figure out, okay, I can actually do some copying and still come out as pretty original anyway, and keep on the consistency of being there where our buyers are to keep that awareness going.
That is amazing. And usually, how much of your time is spent on social selling?
Well, I post every day, sometimes twice per day, and most of my posts are scheduled in advance. Okay. So I spend I spend around 10 to 15 minutes per post. And if it's a video post, it might take a half an hour, especially if it's a product video post. But that's what it takes. But it also takes me time to engage with people that are either in the marketing industry that others are following, or our prospects. And it's a part of a big machine because, I'm on LinkedIn all the time because my prospects are there. And when I'm doing selling, the actual selling, I need to research companies, research people and so on. So I'm there, but it's not the actual social selling.
Right. We love LinkedIn. LinkedIn is amazing. I'm curious to know, what is your biggest challenge since joining the team? Or mistakes made, lessons learned, something that you can share?
Yeah. Well, it's not too difficult to get people to say, yes, I want to be a part of the challenge. But the consistency is you have to remind that to the people all the time. We care about this. Let's do that. And now we are kicking off new ideas like, oh, okay, so should we do some awards at the end of this quarter? Like somebody did something cool. So what should those awards be? And in that way, you're activating them again and again to show that this matters, but also literally asking people, how's it going? Do you need some help? Can I help you? How's the content going? Or like, oh, we just got this blog. Imagine everybody could create 5 posts out of this blog because it is so good. And then we see that happening, but it needs a little bit of pushing for it to be activated because it's not natural for a lot of people to do it, and they don't feel comfortable because it's kind of exposing yourself a little too much.
Yes.
And if you feel that it's a big uphill battle and it takes a really long time to create any ideas at all, and you really don't feel comfortable, nobody's pushed to do that either. So you have to accept that as a person trying to work that program like that even though people said yes, probably some of them will just not continue doing that. And that's okay because they're good at something totally different.
Yeah, that was my next question. If you think everybody can do it, but yeah, I'm curious to know, how did you get your first customers at Dreamdata, and what is the most successful go-to-market strategy today?
Yeah, so the first customers as a startup, so there are the 3 Fs, friends, fools, and family. So when I joined Dreamdata, I think we had 4 or 5 clients, and I think we still have one of them left. But some of them, well, most of those were either Danish clients or somebody we knew through our investors. So that's how they came in. Then slowly when I joined, we started to get inbound clients, prospects that were interested. And to start with, was a very marketing-led and sales hand-holded process to get those in. And right now it's very much inbound. They come inbound, then you have to really streamline your sales process. How are you going to run your trials? So it is optimized for the best experience for your clients, but at the same time keeping the pace of, are we going to close these clients or not?
Right. Now we arrived at the last part of the podcast. I want to ask you, what is your story? How did you start your career, basically?
I'm in sales, so that means that I ended up in sales by mistake or by accident. And that's exactly what happened. So my story is, I wanted to be a journalist, and I did not come through the exam of journalism. I actually failed 1 test out of, I think there was like 5-step test, that most of that was in person, anyway, a lot of stuff. And I failed on that. And then I said, okay, then I'll choose to study something else. I'm originally from Lithuania. So if you don't go to university on your first year right after school, something is wrong with you, child. So I had to go to another study something else. And I chose to go for sociology, totally random. It was more or less, what can I study that's kind of interesting and will be easy to study? Yeah. That's what I did. And then the year after, I said, okay, now I'm at it, so why should I go for journalism? I can just as well. I was writing articles, I was working at the radio station and stuff like that. So kind of doing the job, but it was not my education. So I finished that university piece. And then after that, I had to find a job. And then I found a job in a call center. And after that, it rolled out that I got a job at a tech company, and still not doing sales. I was in sales for the last 9 years now, where I thought of, oh, I'm quite good at what I do, but I think I would like to try out sales. And I got no's all around because, oh, you're so good at doing this. Why do you want to do sales? While I was internally at that big enterprise that I was working. So I decided to switch jobs, and I got an offer from Red Hat to go totally inside sales, which is a supportive function for account executives. And that was 9 years since, and I haven't changed my mind that it is something that I enjoy doing.
This is amazing. And do you have any piece of advice for starting sales people, or let's say to you yourself when you're 20?
Sales is important everywhere. I mean, if you feel like you would like to try it, you just have to go out and try it. It's really, really hard. If you are 20 right now and it's like, I have no idea what I want to do, go out and try out sales. Because you will figure out how hard this job is, but at the same time, the reward, both financial reward, but also the reward of getting the client through, is so big. And following that deal to come through is a very big learning. And you'll be able to use that learning throughout the whole life. If you then become, I don't know, a product manager, a CEO, or whatever other function you'll have to do the selling. And most of the people end up in sales much later in their career. And there are it starting to change that there are a lot of young SDRs starting up in sales, but it's not as much as people later in their careers jumping into the sales. So try to start early. Could be you'll find another path, but if you don't, you'll love and enjoy the sales.
Totally agree. I have one last question for you. What's your favorite SaaS product that you use, but apart from Dreamdata?
What is my favorite SaaS product apart from Dreamdata? Right now, honestly, it's Apollo.
Yeah.
This platform has so much potential. And I get surprised every time. It's like, oh, but the phone numbers they've got, they're actually really good. Or like, oh, we did this type of sequence and look at how it's actually worked. I mean, we bought it just to get the contact details of the people, and the use case is broadening up more and more. So I absolutely love what your guys are building.
Apollo is great, yeah. And I wanted to mention that you have a radio voice, and I really like it. It's so calm and trusting.
I've been like working on that one for a while.
Is there anything else that you want to mention today on the podcast?
Not really. I mean, thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you who are listening here. Come and follow on LinkedIn. And if you've got any questions, reach out. I'm very happy to help anytime.
Thank you so much, Laura. You did fantastic, and I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian.